Hello! Well, it seems like we have a Brine King to deal with. But first we have a map to explore. And unfortunately I do mean explore. On the recommendation of one of the commenters, I've put the Raging Spirit spell on a spell totem, so it can just constantly put out those flaming heads without me having to do anything. Might help with my mobility and overall damage. So thank you for that idea. If it doesn't work out and I die, this is all your fault. It's not my lack of dodging, no sir. Oh, and thanks to this new piece of armor I got with more linked slots, I can now put faster casting on my flame dash, which will perhaps be useful for avoiding death. So then, actually, I wonder if Spell Echo works on a totem. I'll have to explore that myself later. Also, apparently Katarina is here, and when that happens, because of a prophecy, well, that means I gain extra points for completing the mission, which is definitely nice. I also seem to be getting a lot of experience for this, which I'm not sure I like. Well, I only just got the spell totem thing, so it's no surprise that it would level up fast. Also, I'm glad I'm not a cold build around this place, because everything around here resists cold. Unfortunately, it's tough for me to tell where Katarina is. There's not an arrow until I get close. And of course, because this is a change from my build, I'll have to spend a little time adjusting. Just gotta make sure the totem is always up, and not just hold the skill button like I used to. The only problem is that this totem is kind of brittle, but that'll change as I level it up. Oh, I didn't know that was a feature on a shield. Very nice. Well, not for this build, but something to remember. Well then. Unfortunately, the large map doesn't point out which direction I should head here. Also, the totem really should be the first thing I cast from now on, and not right in the face of enemies. It's not a close range totem. Yeah. And here I was happy that they removed those tar enemies from Act 1. But how did you find the coal tar? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I might as well try that Spell Echo thing now. Oh, it actually does make the totem cast faster. Very nice. Whoa, this is being rather unfriendly to some of my minions. Also, wow, this map is just swarming. You can tell it's been a while since I've played because I didn't use that speed up buff all the time. Oh.
Too much clutter.
Wow, already? Yeesh. That's my old coat, and my intention was to put it in inventory. Wait, how big is this shield? Is it 3 tiles high? Most shields are just 2. Oh, you're gonna make me do this. Why you make me do this?
Come to me, Exile.
There we go.
Let us speak of death and desire.
Yes, let's do that. Well, you're gonna do the speaking. I don't expect to do much except
There shall
killing.
be no rest for the wicked, Exile. Go find me some befouled corpses, raise them up, and lead them back here, so that my...
So, when it says it's very thirsty today, that means I need to raise 4 things instead of just 2. Also, although casting a spell totem has a rather high mana multiplier on it, if you let the totem stay up there casting for long enough, it more than pays for itself. Okay, game, don't mess with me on this one. There we go. That's 2 of them. Oh, I have to raise them, then kill them, then raise them again? That's... You know what, I'm not gonna question things. It's Path of Exile, all kinds of weird stuff happens. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So those things will actually fight on my side, however, they also randomly cause desecration, which hurts me, as opposed to the desecration I cast, which is tasty and lovely.
We do this in the name of art.
Guarding a sculpture of flesh and bone and magic. A master of necromancy seeks aid.
Oh, another consequence of me being overleveled. You probably haven't seen any of those essence events around here. That also decreases greatly in frequency when you're overleveled. Unfortunately, I got a rather large chunk of experience just from this map. I wish there was some way to turn experience gain off, as strange as it may sound. Please tell me this is the right way. It's almost certainly not the right way. Is this desperation? I think it might be. In fact, it's the kind of desperation that could easily get me killed if I got surrounded and hit stun. But it didn't, so hooray. And now that we're at the boss part of the game, time for me to go for my conservative build instead.
I need more mana.
Well, there you go. More mana incoming. Another nice thing about this totem build is that because I'm not constantly casting the raging spirits, I should have...
courageous. Such a fine example of womanhood. I simply knew you wouldn't disappoint me. Or my husband. You see, His Majesty could never be satiated on his wedding day by one bride alone. Thank you, my new sister. I shall always treasure your company.
Yeah, there's not much left to her at this point, is there? Anyway, as I was saying, there will be plenty of leftover mana for me to protect myself if I happen to take a hit. Okay. And now with all the minions out and the totem, there's not much for me to do except... Oh wow! That was very sudden. I think the reason this caught me by surprise is last time I played, it took me a much longer time to switch phases, so it was much easier to figure out when the tidal surge was going to happen. Well, there you go. It was almost refreshing to have another brush with death after all of this mowing everything down with the necromancy. Shows that it's still Path of Exile, I guess.
And thus the Lord of Salt and Scale sinks to feed the fishes that flit amongst the ruins of Soartha. Come and jest of his divine juices while they are all washed away.
I don't want to. Alright, so this prevents me from getting stunned, which, for a build like mine, is exceptionally useful. Also, reduced effective chill would be very nice. I don't know what these mini-bosses are, but I guess I should look them up. Well, that's another god out of the way.
How did you? You're still breathing. Bloody barnacles on me arse. You, my new friend, are a legend of the high seas to behold. I tell you what, I've already done my bit getting you here, but if you're looking to sail onto Frisia, me and the Black Crest would be honored to take ya.
I'm not entirely sure that you have a choice if that magical binding works the way that I think it does.
Hold on to your cockles, me hearty. The sea betwixt here and Frisia be the most ill-tempered there is. Here's hoping you've as much steel in your gizzard as you seem to in your heart. Cast off! What'll I do now? This here broken bridge speaks to me some. A fair place to rest my old bones for a bit. And tell you what, with all this sunlight and fresh air, I can feel the calling. Now, speaking of navigations and the like, a long time ago, I had me a nice collection of riches stuffed away in a lockbox. Being the stupid ass that I am, I buried the thing one eve when I was high in my cups. Can't for the death of me remember where except I knew it was near this broken bridge. The box has a silver locket in it. It holds the portrait of my late wife, Meredith.
Can't for the death of me. That's wonderful.
Always keep your eyes on the horizon.
Judging by that rather curious ship and its errant captain, I imagine you had rather an interesting voyage here. Now, Inquisitor Maligaro. We must have his soul. He has most certainly returned to his old haunt, yet his manifestations are like wisps on the wind. There one moment, gone the next. While I am familiar with the phantasmal trails and tributaries that filigree this reality, Maligaro's exact whereabouts eludes me. You should speak with these.
Alright then. And here we go. We have some familiar faces here, but not Groost. I should have known. Well...
You arrive. The Great Spirit spoke in my dreams, told me that darkness would again drown our lands. And you, Exile, would walk before the flood. But what is this? You are not alone. A shade, a memory, older even than... No, older than spirit? Fear grips my throat. I shake, but the spirit drapes a warming cloak upon my shoulders. This ancient goes...
Turn your back for the barest moment and Rayclast bites you in the proverbial. I imagine that's how you're feeling upon visiting us this time. It's how I feel about now. I'm afraid that the Inquisitor's spirit has indeed returned to the Chamber of Sins. Yet while you won't encounter Maligaro by wandering his halls, I do perhaps know how you can find him. Whilst investigating the Fell Shrine, I learned of the existence of a map, forged by Maligaro from his own viscera.
Of course.
This map allowed him to transfer his spirit into another form of existence, an existential safe house to which he could retreat should death ever attempt to take him. Understanding the map's purpose, Vol tried to destroy it, to no avail. So he locked it away deep. Journey well.
Well, since time is short, I'll just tell you right away. Remember how Aramir keeps telling me to stop fiddling with all those ancient artifacts? Yeah, Groost should have listened to him, but he didn't. So he's in a not very good place now. Silk seems to have done something similar. So we have some work in front of us, again. And, well, we'll get started on it next time. See you then.